Hey guys, welcome back to my backyard garden. And I was out harvesting some of the things in my garden, and all week I have been harvesting things, and I thought I would show you how I do some of the things. Now this is what I do to my tomatoes. Now here they are. I do mix my tomatoes. I put some basil in there also. Now I'm going to cook them down about 5 minutes in the pressure cooker, and when they cool off, I will drain all the water off. This is what they look like after 5 minutes. Now I'm going to pour as much of the fluid off as I can. Now I have this immersion blender, and I am going to blend it all up. I poured quite a bit of the fluid off. Here it is blended up. Now what I'm going to do with this is put it in a bowl, and I am going to freeze it until I have enough to can. I am water bathing my tomatoes now for 35 minutes. I don't know whether you can see this. It's in the green, and you can it here for 35 minutes. And this is what they look like. Now this is a steam water bather. I think that's what it's called. But I like this here one so much better because you don't have to use so much water, and it does the same thing. When you're looking in your book, I purchased it last year at Farm and Fleet, and I like it because you don't have to use a lot of water. Now I'm going to put these jars over on the sink, and I'm going to let them sit until tomorrow morning. Then I will put the name on them, date them, and they're ready to go in storage. And this is my first time planting pole beans. No, I'm sorry, not pole beans, runner beans. And I didn't get a lot of them. If you looked at my earlier videos, you'll see every time I planted them, and they got about 6 inches tall, something would come bite them off right at the ground level. They wouldn't eat them, just bite them off, and they didn't live. So I did get a couple of them to live, so I have gotten enough where I can try out. So I'm happy for that. And this is the way they look. These runner beans, I've never grown them before. This is the first time I've grown them. But you can take these, and while they're green like this, you can can them. But I am letting them stay because I want the inside bean. I'm going to let them dry out, and I'm going to store them and use them as a dry bean, like in chilies and different things like that. Also, this is my first time I decided to try growing some black-eyed peas. I had gotten some bulk black-eyed peas, and I said, well, let me just take a couple of these peas and stick them in the ground and see what happened. And lo and behold, they did grow, and this is the black-eyed peas. I think I mentioned this in another video, but these are black-eyed peas. I leave them on until they dry out, and this is the way I didn't realize how much space they needed, but next year I plan to plant a lot more and give them a little more space. And boy, the wasps do love them. I also have grown lima beans. I grew them last year for the first time, and I really enjoyed them. And I planted a few this time, but I had a lot of volunteer tomatoes come up. They shaded them out, so they didn't grow to their max, but such is life. So this is what I'm doing with the ones that I did get. These are some black-eyed peas and lima beans. When I bring them in, I'll lay them on a tray and let them dry out a little longer before I shell them. This is the black-eyed peas I have so far. Hopefully I'll at least get this half full. Put them in a smaller jar. And these are the lima beans. Didn't plant a lot of them, and then I had some volunteer tomatoes that kind of shaded them out, so they didn't produce as well as they did last year, but I will definitely be planting more, giving them more space. And if a volunteer tomato come up, it's gonna have to go, because I really like these lima beans and the black-eyed peas. Now the zucchini squash, I do several things with it. I will dehydrate some, I will shred some and freeze it. I will, and that way I can have that if I want to make some zucchini bread, or put a little zucchini in pancakes, muffins, or whatever. And then I just have some diced up in blocks that I freeze, and I use them in smoothies, and I really like those in smoothies. You can also, if you're making your homemade sauce, like if you're making a sauce to put on a salad, you can also put some of that zucchini in there, and it helps give it, make it a little more creamier. And I have dehydrated some of the zucchini, and I've ground it down to a powder, and that you can use to put in pancakes, cakes, cookies, whatever you're making. You can, I was looking at one lady's video, and she said if it calls for 2 cups of regular flour, she will use a cup of zucchini and a cup of the regular flour, and they always come out perfect. I haven't tried that. I will in the past, in the future. I'm going to try that. This is my dehydrator. It's Excalibur, and I have had this thing about 15 years, and it's still going strong. And right now I'm dehydrating some zucchini squash, and I'm going to powder it up and add it to the rest. What else have I been putting up? Well, I had planted corn, and something got my corn. I didn't plant much, but I think the only way I'm going to be able to get some corn is get one of those dog cages that's closed in all around, and grow my corn in there, and put some kind of chicken wire around it so the predators can't get in there, because everybody I know in my area, something get the corn. And so I just bought some frozen corn, and I canned it. I bought frozen green peas because I didn't have a lot. I buy them in bulk, and I can those. So you can go to the store and get things and just can them, just so you have food put away, because everybody know how high everything is going, and it's important to do. So you don't have to buy as many things. That is, if you can find it, because with all of this weather situation and all of the things that's going on, I just do believe that we're going to have a hard time finding good quality food. So please stock up on a little food, and it's going to help your money go a little further. So I think that's about all that I have stored away. I have my eggplant. I usually just eat the eggplant. I am going to try to preserve some. I really don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I have to do a little research how people preserve it, but I just like slicing it, cooking it up. For breakfast the other morning, I had me an eggplant sandwich, and it was so good. So I'm going to have to work with that. The sweet potatoes, I will store them just like I did the white potatoes. If you looked at my last video, you'll see all the white potatoes that I got. And speaking of white potatoes, I did get that other bed dug up, and I got quite a few potatoes from it. So it's almost time. The sweet potatoes have flowers, and they'll be coming in, and when I harvest them, I will be putting them up the same way. And I did sweet potatoes, white potatoes, and I do a lot of squash, because those things, you know, you just put them in a cool place, and I will have those most of the winter, you know, and I will eat those. I was debating on whether I was going to can some of the potatoes or not, because I want them to last a little longer. And I think last year, if I remember right, I kind of ran out of potatoes around February, and I will have to keep some for starter potatoes for next year, because there's no guarantee we'll be getting to make potatoes next year. So this is what I'm going to do. So I think that's about all. I don't want to sit here rambling. I don't want this video to be too long. If you have any suggestions on about putting food up, please let me know, because I would love to know. Oh, one other thing. I have peppers. I am just going to hydrate peppers, and I'm going to grind them down so I can just, well, quite a few of them are hot peppers, and I'm just going to sprinkle them on. The cucumbers that I got, I didn't get a lot this year. They didn't grow very well, but the few I did get, I ate most of them, and then I just made 1 jar of refrigerator peppers. I mean, cucumbers. That's what I'm trying to say. And there are a lot of recipes online about refrigerator pickles. You just make your vinegar, water, mustard seed, a little sweetener, and I think that's all off the top of my head. Cook it down, pour it over the cucumbers, and put them in the refrigerator 2 or 3 days. They're delicious. So that's all I did with the cucumbers, and I think that's all the things that I have put up. I did get some wild blackberries. I picked those and I made jam out of those, and that's about all. Now you can go buy you some frozen berries if you don't have it, and you can make jams to preserve them, because I guess with the freezing, I'm thinking out if the power go out, I don't want to lose all my food. So this is why I do a lot of canning, and I dehydrate, and everything that I dehydrate and put in jars, I vacuum seal it. So that's what I've been up to. Still not feeling the greatest. I'm going to get checked out very soon. You know, with this medical field, they give you a long time for appointments, but I am feeling a little better. I've been coming out here and getting things done. So this is Lady P, and I will see you in the next one. Peace and love. I'm out.